appropriate time that I can think of. I would also like to take this opportunity of thanking a very dear friend of mine who was with me at IIM Indore and whom I value very much, who is your founder, Dr. Vishwajit Patnaik, who reached out to me and invited me to really talk to you all this morning. So having said that, let me just get off to a start in terms of looking at what I feel is really going to be the kind of things that are required when a firm is in the midst of a difficult period itself, if I were to say that. So, Professor Samantari, can you just please share the slides that I sent to you? Please share the slide. Professor Samantari.
Sir, is it visible now?
Yeah, can you just put it on a slideshow? Just put it on a slideshow. Just put it on a slideshow. Yeah.
Is it visible now, sir?
Right. So, I'm sure that all of you would agree with me that today is perhaps the most difficult period that any one of us would have ever encountered in our lives. In fact, in the last 100 years, the world has never seen such a kind of a stressed period that it is right now witnessing and that it is going through. And therefore, it's no difficult, or it is no kind of a guess of anybody that the firms are going to be in any kind of a situation other than what they are today. Everybody is really stressed out today. The customer is stressed out. The retail is stressed out. The firms are stressed out. And not only so, even the governments are stressed out. Because the challenge is so humongous that it is extremely difficult for anybody to really understand what is it that they should be doing. Well, obviously, I personally feel that there are many challenges that come up in the life of a firm. It is not that only one kind of a challenge. There are many kind of challenges that come up. For example, when, let's say, a technology suddenly changes, making your product obsolete, and you are suddenly thrown out of the market. It's a difficult period. What do you do at that point of time? Or you suddenly realize that the government has changed the policy and you really do not know how to really handle the situation at that point of time. Suddenly now the prices have gone up, or for that matter, let us say, your product is no more, your product cannot be really freely marketed the way it had been so far. I mean, the classical example is that of the tobacco products, for example, which you cannot market in today's kind of a time period, largely because of the fact that the government of India or the governments of the world have come out with very serious kinds of stipulations that need to be put on a cigarette pack or on tobacco products itself. And at the same time, there are health considerations and health factors that have come up, and customer preferences have also changed. But COVID is a very different ballgame. COVID is perhaps a kind of a challenge that has never been witnessed. That's what I just mentioned to you all. And therefore, on the one hand, the supply lines have been disrupted. If you look at the consequence of COVID, supply lines have been disrupted. So the supply chain has been disrupted. Demand has collapsed, largely because of the fact that customer is not too very sure of what is really going to be, or how long the COVID is going to last, or whether I'm going to have really the job, or whether my business will continue or not. And so therefore, from that kind of a point of view, his income levels taking a big kind of a beat. You would have all seen that the Indian economy has collapsed in the first quarter by almost about 32%. Now that's a humongous kind of a, or 23%. Let me correct. I stand corrected. 23%. It is the negative kind of a thing, negative growth, which means it isn't even, for that matter, a 0%, but it is minus 23%. And so therefore, the GDP has contracted. And when the GDP has contracted, the consumption levels are going to get affected in a very big way. So let's move to the next stage, Professor Samantare. Let's go to this next stage. Next one. Next slide. So stress times, as I personally feel, challenges any firm's marketing muscle. It challenges the market muscle, as I say, marketing muscle. And typically, one of the kind of things that really emerge in such a kind of time period. This is a testing period for the firm, because the challenge is whether the firm is really going to survive or not. And therefore, from that kind of a point of view, the first thing is its resilience. If the firm able to really withstand this kind of a downward kind of a slope, does it hold good or does it fall apart? What is its level of resilience? That, I think, is extremely important. And the same thing would hold good when it comes to the students, when it comes to each one of us as an employee. So the resilience of the firm and the employees is extremely important. The second very important part of the time is what is the attitude that it has towards the market and the employees. Is the attitude one of exploitation? Is it that, okay, fine, now the demand is far more than what the supply is, so we can charge whatever we can, whatever we would want to do? Or is it to say, no, these are difficult times even for the customer. I should be more honest. I should be more, I should really care for them. Is it to exploit an employee? Don't pay the salary, saying that we don't have the money? Or is it to say that, all right, we will join. We will all live through this kind of a stress time together. We are going to swim together and we're going to win together. That is the kind of an attitude that comes under the challenge. Next is, obviously, from this point of view, is the trustworthiness of the marketeer. Customer says, can I trust you? The whole attitude will lead towards this kind of a question at the customer's end. Can I trust you? Now, if the marketeer is not trustworthy, then no matter what is really happening in the marketplace, nobody is really going to be buying your product itself. And therefore, from that kind of a point of view, I think what is really going to be happening is this is the time when the marketeer's trustworthiness is being tested. At the same time, it requires firm to architect the future in the midst of uncertainty and darkness. Even when one is not too sure, even when we know that nothing is there, we can't see beyond a certain distance, even then you have to continue. And not only you have to continue, you have to create a future. You have to create a future for the firm so that you're able to survive. It's like driving in darkness. When you are surrounded by dark clouds, when you are surrounded by pitch darkness, and there is no light around. Now whatever other lights that your car has, that is the only light. You have to continue to move forward. You cannot stand there. So therefore, the firm has to now architect the future in the midst of uncertainty and the darkness. Obviously, this requires innovation. And therefore, from that kind of a point of view, from need to invest in innovations. And the next very important point is the collaboration. Very importantly, it requires companies to collaborate, even with competitor, to create a better future for the industry. Remember, if the industry survives, only if the industry survives, you have a future, the firm has a future. The firm has no future if the industry doesn't survive. And so, therefore, you can really collaborate. For example, today in the pharmaceutical industry and in the life sciences kind of an industry, there's a collaboration that is taking place among firms, you know, to be able to create a vaccine for COVID. Now, although they compete in the marketplace, today they're coming together to develop the vaccine. So, to my mind, collaboration is important, even with the competitor, so that you can create a better future for the industry. Let's go to the next. Professor Samantha Ray. Professor Samantha. So stress time requires going back to the basic. It requires firm to go back to the basic. Go again, focus the customer. And the second most important thing is focus on the well-being of the society. At no other point in time than today, for example, society has become so critical and society's well-being has become so important. And the third very important part is the governance of the marketing process. You know, a transparent governance process is really required in marketing. You cannot today say, this is my cost and the customer will take it. No. In today's world, where technology is a very big kind of a change driver, and technology requires, this is a technology which requires you to open up. If you don't open up, then in that case, nobody is really going to come to you. Technology forces you to be more transparent. And therefore, from that, and only when you are transparent, you win the confidence of the customer. So what is really required is transparent governance. Technology is really putting that kind of a pressure on the companies to really create such a kind of a transparent governance structure of the marketing process itself. Let's go to the next. And as we go to the next slide, Professor Samantha Ray, I believe that marketing in today's time would require, obviously, as I just said, keeping customers and employees safe all time, maintaining stocks in the market, a difficult situation today, even when it is so difficult, even when supply lines may get disrupted, even then the company must really make an attempt to see that the stocks are there in the marketplace. There are multiple ways of doing it, particularly when you can really do it through an e-commerce kind of a route or through, let us say, direct kind of a marketing, and see that if you're not able to reach out to the retail, can you really reach out through the direct kind of a route? Amazon, for example, has maintained the supply line to the customer even in the most difficult kind of a time period itself. And why? Even though it was taking much longer time period. For example, today, if you were to order something on Amazon, you could possibly get it in 24 hours or 48 hours or 72 hours. Earlier, it was taking about 1 week, 10 days, 3 weeks even, 2 weeks even. But they were factoring in the delays on account of the supply chain disruption. That is acceptable to the customer. But what is not acceptable to the customer is a situation where you say the product is just not available in the marketplace. Customer retention now becomes far more important than the customer acquisition. So what is important is what you have, hold it on, because if you're not able to hold it on, then in that case, you will never be able to really succeed in let's say, at a time when it is really required. And obviously, you need to continuously reward this loyalty by giving existing customers orders priority. For example, the various kinds of the online or e-commerce companies, particularly in the area of fresh supplies like the vegetables and others like DMart, for example, stop taking the orders from new customers. They said we cannot really take new orders till the time we are able to serve our own existing customers itself, and certainly acquire customers only when the firms can deliver. Okay, go to the next. Let's go to the next. So therefore, the goal of the firm in such a scenario has to be to create to when. That means, in other words,
Sir, 1 minute, sir. Somebody is entering. Yes, sir.
yeah. So the goal of the firm has to be when. That is, the firm wins. Firm obviously has to make some profit. We cannot have a situation where the cash doesn't flow in, because if the cash doesn't flow in, then in that case the firm can't do anything. But equally, it is important that the society must gain. That means, in other words, whether this is in the context of environment, it is in the context of, let us say, pollution, let's say much lesser pollution, or it is, let us say, in the context of certain kind of practices that lead towards better kind of a society itself, or the customer. So all the three must win at the end of the day. So in any given transaction, three parties must win. All the three parties must win: the firm, the customer, and the society. Let's go to the next. So what is happening at the customer's end? Let's go to the next. What is clearly required is also to view it that today what is really going to be required is the societal marketing. And what is the societal marketing now saying? That in the stress times like today, that apart from understanding your target market's needs, wants, and interests, you must, as I said, deliver them in a manner that enhances customers' well-being and society's well-being. Obviously, this requires marketer to be ethical, socially responsible, and balance the objectives of profits, customer satisfaction, and public interest. So look at this. This is what I was just talking about it from the perspective of the when. So what we are really saying is that what is really required today is a societal marketing. In times like COVID, what is really required is the societal marketing. And it is in this context that there is a very big role for internal marketing. It isn't just merely external marketing, but even the internal marketing now becomes important. That means, in other words, even the internal employees must really be marketed the product, the cause, what you are doing. So therefore, everybody must really be communicated on what is the correct situation and what is the stand of the company in all the matters. Therefore, there is a greater degree of requirement of care in marketing communication, both for the external customers as also for the internal customers. Let's go to the next. So let's take a look at what's happening with this customer. What's happening to this customer? I'm sure you would all agree with me. You are all in right now, and many of you are really in Bhubaneswar or in Odisha. I'm sure that much the same way you would all be feeling how long it is going to be continuing. There's an uncertainty today. Uncertainty today is widespread. And not only so, you do realize that this high degree of uncertainty is today creating an anxiety in the consumers, among the consumers. And there is a pessimism today. I'm not too very sure of what is going to be happening. So I start believing in everything which is negative. So I start looking at, so it is the negative information which I start consuming. And when if you look at the media today, for example, media is full of a whole lot of a negative information. So whether this is the television or or let's say the print, or it is even some of the web news itself, almost everybody is full of a lot of negative kind of information. Like, for example, how many people have been affected by COVID? How many deaths? How many have. Nobody is talking about the positivity rate. Nobody is talking about something what is far more important, what is happening on the vaccine development front. What is important is to start looking at the more optimistic kind of a picture rather than just the pessimistic picture. Of course, it's a fact that the numbers are growing and will continue to grow because of a large population that we are. But the fact is that there is an important role of the marketeer in this kind of a context and of the company and also of the government to create a more optimistic environment. This kind of an uncertainty is making customer price sensitive. Today, increasingly more and more customers are price sensitive. And therefore, they start looking at, okay, fine, if this is a high price product, is there a low price version of this particular brand? And if so, why not I pick up that? Is there a, if there is a, if there, for example, there is what we call it as, let's say, the low packaging is smaller and the price is good, I pick up that kind of a product. I don't buy, or I buy a bigger kind of a pack if I find that the price is not really very high. So the price sensitivity now takes takes hold, and therefore today more and more customers are going to become highly price sensitive. Price is going to become a very important determinant. The next big thing is that today the customers are deferring the consumption of the non-essential product. Look at it. Today, for example, if you were to buy a cosmetic, if you wanted to buy a cosmetic and you wanted to buy, let us say, a grocery product or something that you wanted the most essential, let's say, in the case of men, for example, a shaving product, or in the case or let's say, or in the home, you require some grocery products, etc. As opposed to buying a non-essential product like a cosmetic, which one are you going to buy? Are you going to buy cosmetic or are you going to buy the grocery? And you would find that a lot of people today are deferring their non-essential product purchases to a later date and buying the essential product. I have a friend of my, I know of a company that makes the canopies, the awnings, right? And most of this kind of a awnings are made by are made for homes, you know, and and these are pretty high price awnings. Okay, quite a lot of technology in it that I'm aware of it. Some of the most latest technology that they are using it for making some of the most fancy awnings, which you find in some of the most affluent homes. Now, obviously, it's an affluent product. Now he does his orders have all vanished. He says, unless and until the customer is willing to spend on non-essential products, my product will not be bought. The next thing that we are also seeing is, as I said, price sensitivity now say require the customer started trading down the purchase. So he opts for the lower price versions or models with fewer features itself. And core essentials that as I was saying are now more important. Focus is now on the value. Customer is now saying, look, I want you to solve my problems 24 by 7 through your online support. Don't tell me that you are going to be coming tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I want the support 24 by 7, and therefore the online support is what I'm really looking at. It is also you find that the customer is using increasingly the digital mode of transactions because that is perhaps the best way that they are able to protect themselves in this kind of a stress times itself. Let's go to the next. Samandre. Samandre, yeah. If you were to look at it, now this is a BCG study. on consumer sentiment survey, which was carried out in soon after the lockdown, and over more than 2,000 people. And this is straight away from BCG. So you would find that this is also saying Exhibit 8. So this is basically an Exhibit 8 of the BCG survey, the consumer sentiment survey. Uh, so what it says is that the consumers in India are moving to significant adoption across the various digital activities. So take a and there and if you were to look at it in the post in the COVID period, you know, the number of users, the increase in the number of users have been indexed to the pre-COVID users. So take a look at it in the context of the digital purchases. For example, fresh foods, you find that the almost 54% has been the growth rate in the digital purchases in fresh food in India. 1.7 times this has really grown. You think of buying fish, for example, through, let's say, through a digital route? But that is what is happening. Can you think of buying vegetable through a digital route? But this is what Amazon did, you know, when it said that you could buy the fresh food and the staples, etc., and even the personal care product directly on the Amazon itself. So what you realize is that it isn't just merely the online games and the news and the videos or the net banking and other things, but it is even the food items which are today being bought on the digital route itself. Go to the next. And why does that happen? Price, cost, because the customer gets better price over there. There's been an increase in the adoption of the digital technology post-COVID period. For example, 57% of the customers, they said, they reported spending more time watching the movies and shows on the various channels that are there, the OTTs that are there, whether this is a Hotstar or it is a Z5 or it is a Prime Video on Netflix itself. 47% increase in the use of the social media and 36% use increase in the use of the mobile apps. So if you were to look at it, clearly there has been a greater degree of an adoption of the digital technology in a stressed times, largely because of the fact that the customer gets a much larger choice, and not only so, the customer feels empowered now to really select the brand at the price at which he wants without necessarily having to really go through some of those evaluative eyes or evaluative kind of evaluation by the peer group itself or by the shopkeeper himself. So he doesn't have to be bothered about it as to what salesman is, who is looking at what he's buying. He doesn't have to really bother about it as to who is really saying about his consumption itself. That is the kind of a comfort level that he has today in the digital technology itself. Go to the next. Let's go to the next. So therefore, obviously, this requires now, in these times, that the marketing communication that must happen, the marketing communication has got to be far more responsible. And so the kind of things that the marketing marketer has to do is to educate the customer on the new solutions, for example. For example, if today, in the context of education, for example, there's a whole lot of an online education that has grown. Now, a lot of edtech companies today are there in the market. Now, what is important is that these companies have to educate the customer on the various kinds of options that they are offering in their kind of a platform itself. So multiple strategies are being used. For example, Coursera uses one kind of an approach of directly reaching out to the faculty, to the students, giving them a shorter kind of a period to access, try, and then make it really and then give them a larger kind of a licenses itself. Communicate safe habits, especially in today's times. You know, like let's say keeping a safe distance, or for that matter, let us say on a regular basis, maintaining a personal hygiene. You know, all these are safe habits that need to be communicated on a regular basis. Uh, Several companies have really evolved their own marketing communications, and and companies like Coca-Cola or Louis Philippe or many of the other companies or Dettol, for example, or Lifebuoy, for example, they have. If you were to look at the communications in today's time period, they are talking about some of these kinds of safe habits. Now that makes the brand come out as a more responsible brand. When you are actually communicating safe habits, when you are educating the customer on the new solutions, the brand comes out as a more responsible brand. So as I said, the customer is looking at whether you can be trusted or not. Now, this is one way by which they are able to strengthen their trust. Communicate regularly and frequently with a greater degree of intensity. Keep the customer informed of every little thing, even the adverse news. The adverse news, for example, you are going out of the business, you are withdrawing a particular product line. Inform the customer. Be transparent, and obviously, as I said, walk the talk. Go to the next. Revisit price and the payment terms because price sensitivity is high. Please keep this in mind. The goal is to remain liquid, but at the same time prevent exploitative prices. So it is important that you must remain liquid. So that means, in other words, you must have cash. If you run out of cash, you can't really do anything. But at the same time, it is important to prevent exploitative prices. We are aware of the exploitative pricing which is there today in the health industry. There's a whole lot of things that are happening around over there. I don't have to talk about it, but that will not really lead to a better image of the various diagnostic labs and hospitals. And therefore, in good times, these companies are going to be losing out. So keep this in mind. Exploitative prices, no. Remaining liquid is important. Therefore, what is important is to really keep looking at your cost and the price. One kind of a way of looking at it is to price on the basis of usage rather than one-time kind of a price. So you say, all right, I'm going to charge you on whatever you're going to consume, you will have to pay. So you can really talk about it pay per use or the subscription model itself. Digital payment options really help the customers to ensure that they get the best deal. Certainly, customer freedom to select the payment modes. All right, go to the next, and we are ending it now. Let's go to the next. Thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure talking to you all. I've shared my transparencies with Professor Samantha Ray, who can always share it with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for the enlightening words. And it's like we are reading your marketing book again here. So I request my participant if you have any question to ask to Dr. Rajan Saxena. I request participants if you have any question to ask.
There seems to be none.
Thank you, sir. So I will request now our Dr. Bharata Prasanna Mahapatra to propose vote of thanks for this inaugural session. Dr. Mahapatra.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor and privilege for me to be called upon to propose a vote of thanks on the occasion of 2-week online certificate program on marketing strategies during difficult times for the year 2020. So we are deeply grateful to our distinguished chief guest, Professor Dr. Rajan Saxena, former Vice Chancellor of SBKM ANIMS, a deemed to be university in Mumbai, for his enlightening opportunity to express our sincere thanks to him. His presence today in this inaugural session has immensely enhanced its importance and is a great source of motivation to us. Thank you very much, sir. I place my sincere thanks to Professor Dr. Biswajit Patnaik, founder and president ASB University, for his able guidance in matters pertaining to the growth and development of the institute. Sir, your invaluable contribution, guidance, and encouragement has given a new impetus to our work. Thank you very much, sir. I extend my thanks to our respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Kalyan Ray, for being a constant source of inspiration for all of us. Thank you very much, sir. I would also like to thank our respected Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Falgu Niranjana, ma'am, for her support and guidance for making this program successful. I also extend heartfelt thanks to all the participants in the certificate program. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to the coordinator of the program, Professor Mohammad Nath Samantray. We owe special gratitude to the faculty members and staff and other officials who have worked hard for this program. Thank you again. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I would leave.
Thank you all for patiently listening to Dr. Rajan Saxena. So now we'll start with the day one session. We are with us Dr. Tushar Kant Pani. He is working as associate professor in the Department of Commerce, Ravenshaw University. He has done his PhD in business administration. Professor Pani has more than 28 years of working experience in the field of education, training, and corporate sectors. He has written different books on principles of business management, marketing management, medical tourism, stress management, destination marketing, vending zone business. He has also won awards, that is ET Now National Education Leadership Award as Best Professor of Marketing at Tajland and Mumbai on 16 February 2013. Best Cooperative Writer Award from Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha, Srijukta Naveen Patnaik in 2012. His research area includes services marketing, sales and distribution management, consumer behavior, retail business management, etc. Dr. Mani, under Dr. Pani, 8 students have already been awarded PhD and 19 students have already been awarded MPhil institutes and have published many articles in journals of repute. He has chaired many national and international conferences and seminars. Sir, I welcome you. Sir, your topic for this session is understanding business environment and dynamics. So now it is over to you.
Thank you.
So I will request
so we'll continue up to
sir, 1 minute.
We'll continue.
I will request I will request participants to keep their questions on their chat box. They can post the questions on chat box so that we can answer. Sir.
So we'll continue up to 1 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
Or up to 1? Okay.
Yes.
So thank you very much, Professor Samantray. Thank you, Baroda, for inviting me for the first session on your 15 days program on marketing strategies during the difficult times. When I say difficult time, I think we are saying it difficult because of the pandemic that we are experiencing. Difficult time was always there, it will be there, but and the world has witnessed many difficult times. What Professor Saxena was telling since hundreds of years. But human civilization will exist, business will exist, customer will exist, everybody will exist in the meantime, and we have to find some strategy to survive in this difficult time. And since the entire program is on marketing management, and I will be the opening batsman for 15 days of the 15 days program, my area is very much limited to understanding the business environment. Unless and until one understands the business environment, the strategy cannot be formulated. What is happening around us, which forces or factors are affecting us, unless we know, we can't formulate any kind of strategies in between. In last 6 months, we have heard different new terms. We are using new products which we are not using. Even say right now when I'm sitting here, I have also, though it is my own house, my own home, I am sitting, still I am having a hand sanitizer with me. Day before yesterday, what happened? I had been to university, and yesterday I came to know two of our class 4 employees of our departments have tested positive. From yesterday onward, you just can't believe the amount of stress that I have. Many of my friends are suggesting, why don't you go for a COVID test? Then I am thinking that wait for a few days. So this type of difficult time we have never experienced, particularly related to health issues. The disease started maybe around 8 months back, somewhere in China. Then at that time we were discussing in our apartment whether it will come to India. It came to India. Then we thought whether it will come to Odisha. Yes, it came. Then we thought whether it will come to our village. Yes, it came. Whether it will come to our apartment. Yes, it came. Whether it will come to our neighbor. Yes, it has already come. Whether it will enter to our house. Yes, it may enter in time. We are apprehending. So I think we have never such type of fear psychosis earlier. We had difficult time, let's say, related to recession or maybe related to epidemics long back, what we have heard from our seniors. These are many difficult situations the human civilization has experienced and will experience. The new terms that we are, last 6 months, I think we have got in Ravenshaw University more than 200 webinars. See how things have changed. Instead of coming here, you people are sitting at your home or maybe in your institutions and attending a program. I had met Professor Saxena in that award-winning ceremony at Mumbai, Tajland End, where he was there, Professor Dolkia was there. It is very difficult to get these people to this place. You have to make all arrangement. Everywhere there are a lot of logistic problems. But you see, he delivered a talk sitting at his home. I have conducted 2 PhD viva in the meantime in our department, not for my 2 candidates, and at the same time candidates from other departments, where the external expert is sitting somewhere and taking the PhD viva. I think taking a better PhD viva, what he was doing when he was coming here. A student did not spend money on inviting him, no ticket, no sites visit, no feast, nothing. So in one way, things have changed. In other way, some changes have also occurred in classrooms, like online classes and other. Those students are facing difficulties in online classes, but somewhere they have experienced that they are doing better. Attendance have increased. So I don't have to comment on quality of teaching and others, because only students can say. Now the feedback process is being taken, and many researchers are conducting research on that. So the new terms are like life, land, livelihood. We came across a term called quarantine. social distancing, home isolation, lockdown, collapse of economy, then close the door. Then let's say shrinking of market, lack of confidence, then the online classes, then home delivery. So these are the new things that we are experiencing. Even yesterday, I was going through an article of how the bank business has been affected. I came across a term called notes on quarantine. The notes that are being collected or before disbursement or something, they are also coming under quarantine. Contactless payment. Uh, now there some banks are thinking about planning for branchless banking. There will be no branch at all. Everything will be online mode in Singapore. TBS banks planning for that. A new bank concept. Even giving trainings to the bank's employees through webinars. How to deal with customers. How to uh, let's say keep the cash on quarantine. All these are being the new kind of things for the bankers. Even if in every business we have experienced the difficulties. I will show you the slide at last. First, let me just give a lecture. So, like last minute, I will show that. Every industry has affected besides few. Almost all sectors have been affected. See, if you talk of business, you'll from one side you will start from the suppliers. The suppliers will supply raw materials, semi-finished goods, finished goods of their to the manufacturing sector or industry. Then the industry will produce it. Industry will then supply the finished goods to the customer. So customer is the whole purpose of every business. Without the existence of customers, you can't think of big business. So in one side we have customer, manufacturer, and in other side you have got the suppliers. But in a country like India, it's a service-based economy. 60% of your GDP comes from services sectors. And I think the faculty members or research scholars, the students, those who have joined this particular training program, they will agree. Now, most of the jobs, I think majority of the jobs are in services sectors. You can talk of IT, you can talk of airlines, you can talk of insurance, banking, logistic, entertainment, anything that you can, any sectors that you can think where students will be placed. Obviously, they are services sectors. And when I say manufacturing sector, it may be related to consumer goods or maybe industrial goods. When I say consumer goods, it can be uh, fast-moving consumer items, shopping goods, or specialty goods. Or in the industrial sectors, you can say talk of raw materials. You can take of uh, installations, operating supplies, or you can say spare part, whatever you think of. And in service sector, basically, that is a wide sector and broadly divided into four classes of service sector. Particularly, some service sectors target to your body, which takes care of your body. Some service sectors take care of your mind. Mind. Some service sectors takes care of your possessions or properties or belongingness. And rest service sectors takes care of your informations. So service sector targeting to people's body, targeting to people's body, people's mind, then possessions or properties and informations. So entire all your jobs will be limited to these areas. And what we market basically products, services, concepts, ideas, experiences, people, so many things. So out of these, which organizations have been seriously affected because of this COVID? See, food industry will continue, whatever it may be, any situation. There may be flood, there may be fire, there may be war, there may be pandemic like corona, whatever it may be. Every day morning, people will take food till night. They'll go to bed. So when they're not allowed to go outside, so take away food from home. Suppose you are going to restaurants were seriously affected. When you are not allowed to move, transport sectors were very much severely affected. In the initial stage, people were threatened, people were beaten, they were trained not to move outside, and gradually they learned. And there was a debate between life and livelihood, as a result of which government had no other options. They had to allow people to go outside, let them first get trained how to take care of themselves. They trained you through lockdown, shutdown. They trained you. Now they are allowed that you go everywhere, anywhere, and day by day you'll find the number of corona patients and increase, and we have to live with that. Now the conclusion came that either you have to think about the life or you think about the livelihood. When we talk about livelihood, various activities, and within that the business activities comes. Now, when the GDP rate has gone down, when the government is not able to pay salary, like Professor Saxena was telling that uh, people are not giving salary to the employees. Yes, you just think about a simple example. Few days back, I met a person who was taking my children from LKG to their college level through his buses to travel here nearby. I found that man on the road. Then I said, "How are you?" Now, then he asked me, "Sir, where are you going?" And I said, "I'm going to bring some groceries." Now, why don't you take from me? Then I said, "Are you into groceries?" Now, what should I do, sir? I had around 25 buses, around 20 to 25 school buses, autos of different sizes. I had appointed around 25 drivers. Now schools are closed. I have taken loans from the bank, and most of the drivers were staying with me because I have very time bounding duty. So I used to keep the drivers with me, though I am not paying good amount. But now everybody is unemployed. Think about the esplanade. Thousands of people have lost their job. Those are salesmen, those who are into delivery, those who are into, let's say, tailoring, those who are into security. Everybody in distress. Even in teaching jobs, I know some of my colleagues who are working in different private management institutes, 50% salary has been reduced, 30% salary cut. Some have lost their jobs. They said once the admission will be normal, student will join. So education industry is also being affected like anything. Yesterday, High Court has given a verdict that Parents Association, College School Teachers Association, and let the stakeholder decide what will be the school fee, because parents are not able to pay the school fee. And bankers, they have also problem. They are also in a very terrified condition. Anytime the government take a decision of loan waivers, anytime they may take up agricultural loan waivers, they are floating different kind of schemes and all these things. So they are also at very distressed level. Airlines, hotels, experiencing around 70% negative growth. Automobile sectors, around 50% negative growth. Construction and retail sectors, they were experiencing around 50% negative growth. Textiles, 50% negative growth. Because they are not open. Textile industry is also affected. Freight and logistics sectors have also affected. Metal, mining, oil, gas industries, power industry, then the consumer and the retail industry, chemical industry. Even IT sectors have also experienced very less amount of growth, negative growth, around minus 10%. And even we are talking of pharma doing well, but most of the raw materials for pharma sectors come from foreign countries. They have also been affected. They are also severely affected. Even you are talking of mobile phone. See, one way the business is good, but at the same time the taxation has increased, and they are also not doing well. And even telecom sectors are also experiencing problems. Okay, some sectors are doing, to some extent they are better, like IT's software development sectors, they are doing better. Insurance sector, particularly in case of health insurance, to some extent they are doing good, but most of the orders are coming through online nowadays. Netflix, Amazon, Disney, to some extent they are doing good because people are not going to theater, they are watching movie here. Then the door delivery, particularly food item, medicine, grocery, you can say Zomato, Swiggy, they are doing business now to some extent, and e-commerce is now have just started doing well. Some other sectors which are facing problems, let's say sports and entertainment sector, mind of customers. The British England Premier League, La Liga, all these being affected. IPL match was affected. So even your entertainment, your Kapil Sharma's laughter show was not doing well. Your most of the TV actors, actors, TV serial actors, film stars, they all were sitting idle, and just few months, 1 month back, they have started. Even I was involved in a small serial here, and one episode was already shooting was over. Then after that, when they approached, then I said, no, I don't have time. I can't go. I can't take the risk. But anyway, industry is going. You might have seen Kapil Sharma shows. The audience were sitting behind the, let's say, Archana. They all are not actual audience. They are the photographs. Even football players who are playing on the ground, they are playing without any audience. So just to encourage the players, artificial crowds, the sounds have been created so that the players will also feel that yes, my club members, we are our fan, they're encouraging us. So sounds have been created. I said you can't stop the show. You'll be affected definitely. The environment, so this difficult time will be there, but the show must go on. The business must go on. So you have to find certain strategy. You see, the same episode of Kapil Sharma laughter show started, but in a different way. Because you see, with the laughter, there must be some clapping. You must see that the background must be full with audience. So they have done that. Only these are placards, and sound is there. May not be as natural as, but still the show is going on. Likewise, the players are playing in empty stadium. Same competition is there. Only instead of audience, but audience are sitting at home. Instead of going to that stadium, enjoying the live match, their live match is being enjoyed sitting at home. So in one way, like a balloon, when there is a pressure from one side, there is the pressure will be exerted on the other side. So some industries are facing severe problems. Some industries are facing, let's say they are also getting ground, and gradually things must improve, and we'll be acquainted with that. This time management education has already been started through online mode. Same exercise. Even if the interaction and ragging is going over, let's say in your online mode, even your seniors instruct you, please get up around 2 o'clock, come to your laptop, come in front of a laptop, answer these questions. You just get clean saved. I don't want to name the institution. I know they are. They said they're very premier institute. You have to is CAT, then you have to sit in interview, then you will get those. But senior want to interact. They want to make you smart. Even in the late night, they'll say you must come with a clean shave, get formal ready. So they are finding in an innovative way in this generation. So particularly when we talk of marketing, things have changed a lot. We were doing business in our village. Then we went to state level, national level, and international level. The LPG syndrome, liberalization, privatization, globalization, all these affected us in time to time. So when we're talking of any business, basically, I said, what product or service do you do? And how it is going to add or create value to your customers or for your business, that you have to think of. And particularly when I talk of like Professor Saxon was telling regarding internal marketing, external marketing, interactive marketing, all these marketing aspects, particularly related to service sectors. Business maybe starting from supplier side to manufacturer side to customer side, or service provider to customers. You'll find there are different business models are there. Different business model operates in between the suppliers, manufacturer, and customers. See, there are some organizations who are only involved in manufacturing model of business. They only manufacture, forget about the rest. Some people, they only believe in distribution aspect. We are distribution, we are dealer. We need not bother about manufacturing. But you see, manufacturers, they are also affected by distributors. Distributors or dealers, they are also affected by manufacturing point in terms of quality, in terms of timely delivery. But when you talk of piece business model, so manufacturer model, distributor model, retailers model, some institutions are only they are into retailing, like Amazon and others. Then franchise model business are there, McDonald's and others. Brick and mortar business, we all see. E-commerce model, brick and click model. They are into both brick and mortar model at the same time click, both online and offline. Then there are some organizations those who believe in only low pricing model, nickel and dime model. There are some model called the freemium models. They basically internet companies. They give something free, and once you look for something more, then they will charge money from you. Subscription model like Netflix and others. Aggregator model. In aggregator model, they don't have any hotels, they don't have any car, like Uber and let's say Oyo and all this. They are also doing business. Online business, advertisements sector like YouTube and other doing advertisement. Then data licensing or data selling type of modeling, agency-based modeling like your Lintas, Ogilvy, the advertising agency and all this. Then affiliate, let's say commission-based modeling, dropshipping model. They don't have the product, they don't keep inventory, they only just take the product and drop at a point. Network marketing, networking business that you know. Then sometimes some organizations, they are only into crowdsourcing. They use different mode to get the customers. Peer-to-peer, no third-party interventions. They give a platform where the customer and the seller will meet, like your OLX model, P2P model. Blockchain, high touch, low touch, like automation, auction-based, razor blade method, blade razor model. So there are different kind of business models are there. So in all these business models, whatever you do, whether you distribute, whether you produce, so you are affected by certain factors. Some factors are within your control, some factors are not within your control. But every business organization has certain characteristics. So business will be basically affected by external forces. You can say business is totality of external forces. External forces will affect. Specific and general forces. Some forces will affect your industry only, not others. Some factors will affect your organization only, not the entire industry. When I say industry and organization, they are different. Automobile industry, but with that you can take Hyundai. It's one organization. Hotel industry, Mayfair is organization. So some factors affect the entire organization, entire industry, and these are also again business environment is interrelatedness because see, if some customers are now more and more customers are becoming diabetic, so there is demand for Diet Coke, there is demand for sugar-free sweets. Earlier there are no sugar-free sweets in, you can say, sweet stores. Now they have. So interrelatedness. If there will be demand, then the product will come. Then the business will be totally dynamic in nature. It's not a closed environment, total dynamic. If technology will change, business will change. Taste will change, business will change. Government policy will change, that will also affect us. So dynamic, open. It is affected by the business environmental factors. Then let's look at the complexity. Business is quite complex nowadays, particularly the film industry, the fashion technology industry, IT industry, the sorry, they are under quite uncertain industries. You never know what will happen. Uncertain and complex. You can say social, economical condition, technological conditions, factors that affects business in a company. So again, business is quite relativity. The technology that you find in Japan may not find in India. What you find in India, you may not find in Pakistan. So again, from country to country, those things varies. In total, if whatever I have discussed, that the factors are affecting all these factors that I said are affecting the business in general, and it is bound to affect. So within that, what you have to do, you have to make your environmental analysis. When you make your environmental analysis, you know your strength, you know your weaknesses, you know the opportunities lie for the business, and what sort of threats we are going to experience. And on the basis of that, on the basis of this analysis, you have to find your business strategy. You have to make your strategy so that survive. Why we make strategy? They, if there is no competition, no need to formulate strategy. Suppose you are the only one player, you are the only one student in a class, so you are the topper. When there is competition, you have to formulate strategy. In business, particularly the word strategy has come from different sectors. When two teams go for, let's say, fighting or war, they make strategy, how to defeat others. You all might have seen UFC and boxing. Some people say very defensive strategy, some are very aggressive strategy. Sometimes because of aggressive strategy you fail, sometimes because of defensive strategy also you fail. You all might have seen that nowadays in football, or you can say cricket, teams are coming with for 11 players there are 11 coaches. Earlier there is no concept of batting coach, bowling coach, fielding coach. Then there are physical fitness. You'll find for 11 players there are around 30 to 40 trainers, or you can say motivators. So many things are being done. It is only happening because of competition, and competition is rising because of the demand from the customers. So you have to survive in corporate competition. Earlier, for example, when we talk of marketing, evolution started from barter stage. It's simply exchange of essential commodities among neighbor and neighboring villages. Within that limited area, we are offering the business. Then it comes the money economy. Then industrial evolution stage came. Industrial evolution, just mechanization of everything took place. And all of a sudden, what happened? The supply exceeded the demand. Once supply exceeded the demand, then there is competition. And as a result of competition, every organization tried to formulate certain strategy. How to get my customers? Earlier, customer didn't have a position. It was simply limited to the sellers. Whatever they produce, you have to take. You all might have experienced. I don't know whether most of you are looks very younger. In our time, if you go for a cup of tea, and we say that, can you prepare a cup of tea? No. I have prepared the cup of tea in the morning. Just I have kept it. If you want to take, you take. If you don't like, you go. But now you go. I want a cup of tea. Yes, sir. Without sugar. Yes, sir. Kadak hona chahiye. Yes, sir. Can you add little coffee powder? Yes, sir. I am standing there. Bring it. Yes, sir. अच्छा पैसा भी 5 दिन का बाद लेना. Yes, sir. Because getting customer nowadays is not that difficult. So, but serving the customers in a customized manner is more difficult. Retention of customer has become more difficult. We are talking of customer relationship management nowadays. And CRM is not only customer relationship management, it is also called cost and return management. If you involve some cost, then you will get the return. It is also known as continuous relationship management, creative relationship management. I'll just give a small example of how business was affected in, let's say, 2001. We had a recession during 2008. But in 2001, what happened? The World Trade Centers debacle had taken place. And as a result of which, Muslim peoples were severely beaten, manhandled in USA and Europe. Wherever Muslim people were found, they were seriously beaten in those countries. And at that point of time, you all might be knowing there is a renowned hospital in Bangkok called Bumrungrad. Bumurungrad. You can just check it in your website, Google. Bumrungrad. Bumurungrad. Bumrungrad Hospital. Just see the hospital. It was about to close during 2001. It was not doing well. It's a good hospital, but it was not doing well. It was about to close. See, problem occurred in USA. Problem occurred in for the Muslim people in USA and Europe. And most of the Muslim patients were going to USA. You can take it as a case study also. They were going to USA for treatment because best possible treatment are given. And those hospitals are JCI accredited hospital, Joint Commission International Hospitals. In India, we have got Indraprastha Apollo Hospital, is JCI accredited hospital. So people who pay more, they expect best services. So since most of the people in Dubai, or you can say in these areas, Muslim-dominated areas, they have money. So for treatment, they used to go to those nations. I have written a book on medical tourism. See, you go to Escort Hospital, go to most of the corporate hospital in Delhi, Bangalore, Delhi, you find Hyderabad, how many patients are coming from outside. So many patients are coming. Let's say even for your Ayurvedic treatment or others, they are coming here. So Muslim people didn't go there. So all of a sudden, this hospital grabbed that opportunity. So see, problem happened somewhere else. But this hospital grabbed the opportunity. What they did, they trained all the employees of that hospital about the fundamentals of Islamic. How the food should be, how the room should be. They just kept the photograph of Makkah and Medina for certain rooms where the Muslim patients will come. They even make a, let's say, very, can say, visa facilities, how it can be user friendly. The hospitals is just like a 5-star hotel. You just check it in just after the bus. Just like a 5-star hotel. You will find Starbucks, you will find McDonald's, you will find the lounge, very astonishing. Patient is a patient, but what about the attendants? Attendants must enjoy the environment. The doctors are trained in 35 different languages. Interpreters are there. You have, as a patient, you fix, see, these are the strategies. So customized strategies. I want to talk to this doctor in this language. So that facilities are there. Chinese, even people, though China is a very advanced country, so they are also coming here. Dragon concept. Then Japanese patients are coming because they are also provided mandiras. For Muslim people, there is prayer rocks, photographs of Makkah and Medina. They kitchen people are trained with the test of Islamic people. So you have to be customized. As a result of which, they are doing wonderful business now. The hospital which was about to close is doing wonderful business right now. My friend Arthobabu is there. Very good. So things are changing at a much faster rate. That's why we are using this term called marketing. Unless we would have said market. Market means people say, I'm going to this market, and now that is not a market. Market means they are the buyer. Who buy? Any organization buy or any individual buy. Even for organization, individual buy. So when I say marketing, we just add ing with market. With any word you add ing, is a continuous process. It's a continuous process. And where there is a continuous process, always there will be some difficulties. See, those barbers, for example, you want to go to dress your hair, style your hair. The barber asks you, sir, what do you want? How to dress your hair? When you go to even stitch your shirt or pant, the tailor asks you. If they don't ask, if they don't dress your hair as per your taste, as per your requirement, obviously you are not going to go there. Next time you will not go there. So it's a continuous process of identifying the changing need and wants of the customers and satisfy. Then we came to the stage of delightness, because environment said, yes, now you have to delight the customer. Customer should feel proud of using your product. Now the delightness stage is over. Now they say, no, no satisfaction or no delightness. Who can surprise the customer? Who can exceed the expectation of customers? Customer, when joins any program, for example, in simple class also, when teacher comes, students come with expectations. And when you join any institutions, you also come with certain expectations. So when you go to a retail outlet, you go with expectations. When you go inside the aircraft, you go with certain expectations that, yes, I must reach within 2 hours from Bhubaneswar to Delhi. The aerostase should be like this, like that. When I go to retail outlet, I express what so. Earlier, you didn't have express counter. For example, retail outlet, suppose you have gone simply for a pouch of milk, 1 pouch only, half liter. But if you found there is a long queue, people are standing with a large bucket with buckets of products, you cannot waste your time. Because a transaction must be a valuable one. When I say value, value is a psychological term. It's a comparison between cost and benefit. What cost you incur against that, what benefit you get. You see, in every transaction, for example, you are listening here, so you have your own expectation. You are incurring cost, you are sitting somewhere. When you say what are the costs you give your time as a cost. Physical cost, sitting here, sitting there in a chair, maybe comfortable or non-comfortably. Sensory cost, if there is a air conditioner is okay, if it's non-air conditioned, then there is a problem. If there is a heavy temperature, then there is a problem. Sensory cost. Physical cost, time is a cost, financial cost, and psychological torture cost. Sometimes even going to a mall or somewhere or doing business itself is very psychological torturing type, uncertainty. So customer always try to compare what cost is incurring against that what benefit that you are getting. So always it is a challenging factor for the business to provide value-based transactions, because customer expect to derive value from every transaction. So now it has shifted from satisfactions to delightness to surprising the customer. Who can surprise the customer? Who can give the best? That's what they're afraid of. Many Indian companies, they're afraid of. Can we give the same product that a German company can give? Can an American company give? See, all of a sudden, yesterday, let's say, which Chinese app is being banned? PUBG chant. 17 crores people were associated with that. Even I've seen my children, those who are doing engineering, even during night 2 o'clock, they will be shouting. I don't know how do they play. I don't know how to play, but they used to shout, "Gola, gola, mar, dhar." So see, yesterday it stopped. So it is not simply stopping or giving a let's say permanent exit to a business app. It's just striking hard in the heart of China. Striking hard. When you rejected so many apps, all of a sudden, it's just, you can say, straight slap in the face of the China. So that we think, patriotic feelings comes. So these things affects also business like anything. So we'll be coming to that, those factors. So now business require is basically business is coined around 2 words: efficiency and responsiveness. Efficiency. So business must be look for efficiency. When I say efficiency, do whatever you like, but with low cost. When I say responsiveness, give what customer want. So in one way you say, give the best with low cost. Very contradictory. Very difficult to do that. When we are competing in a world around, the type of human resource we are having, the type of technology we are having, the type of infrastructure and other things we are having. It's very difficult to compete with a nation like China or America and other things. It's very difficult. So we are experiencing difficulties, but sometimes it happens. We have to do all these things. We have to reject those things. Most of the medicine, let's say, components coming from China. Most of the, let's say, almost all top class mobile phones, so you can say laptops or any electronic gadget, even four-wheeler, the manufacturing centers were in China. So now, because of this situation, see, entire world is at one side and few countries like China, they are outside. So their business will obviously be affected. They are not predicted because before, let's say, January or before March, they had not experienced this type of problem. What they did, they just congregated soldiers and there was it exchange between the soldiers. Some people died. We don't know how many people died from that side. But you see that all of a sudden ignited the you can say patriotic feelings that our soldiers died there on the border. We will not use their products. So these small things can affect business like anything. But some factors are within our control. Some factors are not within our control. So in between your efficiency and responsiveness, how to give best and how to give best with a low cost. How can you reduce the price? It's a very difficult task for the business managers. I have just given a list of around 30 business model. You may be fit into any model. Maybe you are a manufacturer, maybe you are a retailer, maybe you are a franchisor, maybe you are a logistic company, maybe you are a aggregator, maybe you are a online company into e-business, but you are going to be affected by that. You're going to know. So which factors are within your control? We call them internal factors. Internal factors, they are within our control. Like our own employees, they are within our control. Now, the bank, suppose all of a sudden, we are going for online classes. So our internal factors are our own teachers. So our teachers don't know how to teach in Google platform, how to do it in Zoom platform. I especially, I didn't have any idea about those. It was a compulsion, so I have to be trained. I learned from my students. I learned from my children. Right now, I am also learning sitting in front of you. So earlier, I was just when for the first time, KIT University said, "Sir, we'll have an online webinar." I said, "I don't know." And I said, "It's not a problem. You ask to your children." Then I found it is comfortable. I know how to open, but I will speak. Then suppose how to upload the PPT, I will take their help. So after, let's say, 1 or 2 instances, I learned it. I'm taking, let's say, class on online mode. I tell my students in Google platform, you just give me the link, I will just click and I will enter. So it's a compulsion. You have to learn it. So some factors, suppose your employees are your internal factors, but they're not trained, you can train. They're not skilled, you can just enhance their skill. Suppose your own non-marketing departments, production, finance, HR, so they are within your control. You can bring certain changes within your organization. Some factors which are not utterly within your control. I said internal factors are within your control. External factors are not within your control. Which are external factors? They are of 2 types. External factors, external macro factors and external micro factors. When I say macro, they are a bit bigger factor. Micro means smaller factor. It's not big and small. This is which are macro factors. The macro factors affects the entire industry. And micro factors affect one organization. I had given example of macro factors, let's say, affects the entire industry, means hotel industry. Macro factors affects industry, but micro factors affects one organization. Let's say Mayfair, something happened. Suppose the supplier of Mayfair didn't supply quality raw material. So the food quality of Mayfair will not be good. It is not going to affect all the hotels in India or in Odisha. Not going to happen. So your external factors are not within your control, but some factors are not totally within your control. Some are semi-control. partially controllable. So internal factors are totally within your control. External are two types, external are macro and micro. I will show the sides at last. So your external macro factors basically affects a lot, like social and cultural factors, technological factors, economical factors, political factors, legal factors, international factors, natural factors. These factors affects the business like anything. When I say social factors, you can say uh, we will remember it in one word: the step in. We say pestil, step in. So social and cultural factors. So when I talk of society, social factors, what is your view about ourselves? How do we, what is our view about ourselves? What do you think about others? During this Corona time, see, many peoples like Sonu Sood and others, they were helping lots of migrant laborers. They were helping not only migrant labor, those who are they were into troubles, they were helping them. So what do you think about others? Sometimes earlier, see, this pandemic, this coronavirus is going to make lots of impact on your, you can say, social factor, social environment. Your thinking process will be changed. Earlier, we were telling we're social animal. Now, this social distancing. See, even we are in the same city within a distance of 1 kilometer, we have not made our relations for last 6 months. We have not gone to their house. We have not gone to their houses. No. Even we are staying in one apartment, we are not going there. We can't take the risk. So, what we think about our society, that is going to change. It has affected your social functions. Even in case of death, if 20 people can't be assembled. The marriage is being held with 50%, sorry, 50 or 20, 30 people like that. There are some instances or examples where somebody has shown his power in Barampur. A hotel owner went to Mayfair with a big bang, and both the groom and the groom's father was behind the bar, and they were sent into jail, and the Mayfair people were given notice. Likewise, Mayfair or Taj, I have not exactly remembered. I had read in newspaper. So if this type of news comes, then again you will get. So the social distancing, what you think about others. Now see, those people who are working as a maid servant, now people have started paying them for the last 2 or 3 months, even if they had not come. You have to think about them also, because you can't live on isolation. So the social environment, like view about ourselves, view about others, view about the organizations. So that those things is going to affect the business. What is your view on society? Means what to eat, how to dress, how to live, then whether we live a simple wear, whether we'll go for gorgeous. Like we have got different kind of people. Those are makers, those are changers, those are escapers. They will be there. So social factors will also affect. Think about the quality and others. These are affecting business. Quality products, fiber content products, cholesterol-free products, looking for quality and others. So these are going to affect the business like anything. Then technological factors, particularly technologies. Technology has changed the business language. Information technology, database, barcoding, internet, and at the same time, now you can say there are different courses have come in different IIMs and other institutions. Data analytics, data analytics. Suppose a retail outlet wants to know at what time or what period of a month people are coming more. Suppose customer X is coming to our store in a month, how many time he is coming? In a year, how many time he is coming? In which type of brand he is interested? Because of barcode and others, they have got the detailed information about the customers. So some people are watching you. For example, you might have seen in YouTube or in Facebook. Suppose you are interested to see only, let's say, boxing. For example, I love to see boxing, for example. So suppose I have browsed for boxing. The next time when I'll open, all of a sudden you'll find there is a fight between Mike Tyson and let's say Evander Holyfield. Suppose you are interested to see only the fight won by Mike Tyson, so they will show you those fights only. Suppose they will show some, let's say, game where Mike Tyson's were brutally defeated for 5 times, or all losses of Mike Tyson. You are not interested to see all these things. Just you have just crossed over. So in that case, they will not show you that. Suppose you are interested to show some, let's say, Jatra comedy and other things, they will show those things. So whatever you are doing, these are being analyzed by somewhere, and it is only possible because of information technology. They are doing it. Like e-commerce, let's say, uh, e-commerce, taxation, then your import, export, employment level, productivity, the economic factors also affects like anything. Your income, because people don't buy, money buy. So what is the amount of your disposable income, discretionary income? So that play a very important role. How much you are earning? See, a simple decision by the government that let's say uh, there will be no freezing of DA, there will be salary cut. That is going to automatically affect others. When the declaration of shutdown and lockdown for a specific period, let's say 21 days lockdown, all of a sudden you'll find there is a big rush in the market. Suppose they announce there is a shutdown in so and so time, all of a sudden there is a hike of demand in market. People will go around even at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock night to purchase things. That there will be lockdown for so on. There is a rumor also that play very important. Rumor. There is a simple rumor that anytime the government take a decision that you can't withdraw money in this corona pandemic period, and all people even reserve heavy cash at their home. So the small social issues or economic issues, these also affects the business because people don't buy product, money buy the product. Because see, many people are around. It was saying that about 2 crore jobs have been lost. Lost means they don't have income, or most of the people have lost salary up to 50%. Those are jobless. 30% salary cut means their buying power has been cut. As a result of which, it's very difficult time for the marketeer to sell their products. Now, again, it will revive, but it will take some time. Even job market is also having lots of problem. It will revive. Of course, there will be some strategy by the government, by the industries, so that things will revive. They're like a political factor. I was telling, step in social, cultural, culture play a very important role. Culture. Simple definition of culture is since we have taken birth till we die, we follow some rules and regulations framed by our ancestors, and we generate those things from time to time. We transfer time to from one generation to another generation. So what we'll eat, how to dress, even at the time of let's say that whether it will be buried or burnt, what type of products will be used uh, at the time of death, at the time of burn, at the time of other rituals. So these are being decided by culture. But remember, culture will change. Culture cannot be static. We are being affected by the culture of other nations. So, see, their advertisements, their products quality, we used to follow them. They also follow us. Culture cannot be static. So, cultures also affect business. You all might have remembered when Maggie was banned for a few months. Maggie, a product of Switzerland, was a very, you can say, it's a very core product in every household, particularly for their children. The mothers had a big solutions for the children in the name of Maggie. When Maggie was stopped or banned for a few months, it was a big problem for the housewives or particularly mothers. They raised voice. Without Maggie, we can't run. You see, right now, for example, when our children are not going to outside, we just stop them. Don't buy from others. Don't buy the food from outside. They resist. How long will tolerate? How long will tolerate? We have not placed any order since last 3 months. We want to have, the mother says, I will prepare the roll, I will prepare the, let's say, chili chicken. No, no, you can't have the same taste like what we get from so and so places. So they, lots of pressure on the housewives. And you ask all the housewives who are sitting at home, or you can say working ladies who are sitting at home. Even they are in the office work, they have to think about the children because children are at home. And most of the same serials are repeated, games are closed. So you have to find some other way to engage them. Even daycare centers are closed. Let's say play schools have been closed. So this has changed the social setup. Even those who you might have read so many things in Facebook and WhatsApp, so many interesting things have come. Even the type of profession we don't have, you don't know, you might have done. You might have got the hair of your children, the hair of your brother, father, mother, like that. You are bound to do that. These are some of the ways that you will find. Now, let's say earlier, when you were not doing that, now you have started cutting the hair of your children. Okay, so they have also accepted it. They have accepted, okay, it looks good. Make V cut, make U cut, like that. And we have tried in a different way to that because we don't have any other options. So lots of social changes, economical changes, political changes at the same time. Technological changes have also occurred, and technology has, let's say, suppose you don't want to take food from the, let's say, uh, in a hotel, you don't like to have food from the hand of a boy. So there are robotics nowadays. It will work. There are so many hotels in Bangalore. They have already introduced Hyderabad. They have already introduced robotics. Robot will come 100% sanitized. Will carry the food. Will come to your bed. You go to hotel, instead of a bellboy, you'll find the robot will take you to the hotel rooms and will provide you a standardized solutions for your problem. Standardized solutions. So these are certain things which we would like to discuss with you. Uh, I think you had allotted me up to 1 o'clock. I should speak. Uh, we'll have some question answer session so that in the process of question answer, I will add something more. Let me just show the slides for 1 or 2 minutes. Whatever I have discussed, I have kept everything in the slide. Just show it. Show it. That's for the one. Is it visible? Professor Samantha, is it visible? Professor Samantha, is it visible? Is it visible, Professor Samantha? 7 essential characteristics of business.
Yes, sir, it is visible now.
Totality,
Visible.
totality of external forces.
Yes, sir, visible.
Yes, specific and general forces. Right, thank you. So there are, I have discussed these factors like global competition, demanding customers. Customers are demanding from time to time. They want something new all the time. Discontentment with the customer. This is the biggest problem. Like, see, my father had one pen for 30 years or 35 years. He was using the same bicycle for so many years. But our children are changing their pen every day. They want something new, demanding customers. Then the manufacturing excellence, that is the demand. So when we are talking of product excellence, now we are talking of manufacturing. Everything should be error free because you are competing with the best technology in the world. So being a Indian manufacturer, you have no excuse because these next generation children, they will never bother with the producer, with the manufacturer. They want quality. Then new product. When coming in other end, you have no other option. You have to change yourself. So, then changing workforce, I'm saying. So earlier, though, let's say industry, the employees were quite, you can say, loyal. They were quite sincere. They were just treated like labor, sorry, machine. But now the employees are very demanding. This generation, millennials especially, you see, those are baby boomer stages, like people of 60, 58, now they are going to retire. They will listen whatever the boss says, but next generation students, sorry, employees, they will not listen. They will quit. They will even shout at the boss, yes, I am right. Even we know our boss is wrong, still we listen. Yes. So changing workforce. Then you'll find next generation employee will come to your organization. Even if somebody will come to your store, he will come with his pet, pedo friendly flexibility type of organizations. You have to allow the cat, you have to allow the dog. From that, with that, he or she will come to your organizations. Then you can say, because of this pandemic, suppose you don't have a job, provide to job for 8 hours, so flexi hours, you come for 2 hours or come for 3 hours. So now, instead of, if you are paying 50%, you are paying let's say 40%, they can work for flexi hours. So changing workforce, their attitude, their upbringing, their way of working, they're more techno savvy, more knowledgeable, that you have to accept. So changing technology, then the new type of competitors, every day new startups, all these are coming. And these factors like international trade blocks. See, earlier the relations between India and China, once we had a meeting with Professor V. K. Nambiar. He said, my name is V, Vijay V. The relationship with China was at the top of V. Then it came down the time of Rajiv Gandhi. Then again, it went off. And again, it came down at the time of Vajpayee, when we had gone for Pokhran test. Then again, it was revived. Again, now it has gone down. So now, see, we have got a lot of, see, all this business or war, whatever it's taking, it is, if you go deep into, it is only related to business. Why people, other part of the world want to help us? Why Japan is interested in India? Why US is interested in India? Because 130 crores of populations and the highest number of youth. When you say youth, youth means everything. Youth means shoes, youth means books, youth means spec, youth means cap, youth means jean pant, shirt, trouser, what is it, four-wheeler, mobile phone, laptop. There is tremendous demand. So everybody is interested in that. So worldwide, you will find there are some trade blocks. So some similar minded, obviously business is there in between. Because of business, there are a lot of alliances are like that. Like you all might have heard about NEFTA, AFTA, SAFTA, Asian countries, SAARC countries. So there is an association of different countries. So trade blocks are there. That is also affecting our business. So sometimes embargo policy, let's say taxation policy, import duty, then restrictions of, let's say quantity, restrictions of, let's say quantity to be exported or imported. All these decisions are taken, which affects the business. Then discontinue technology. All of a sudden, you'll find some model will be out. So all the models by 2015, 15 years back will be, let's say, will go. Now we'll have a hybrid model. Next day, another model will come. So you have to analyze the environment and you have to keep yourself ready that which technology is going to be discontinued. Then changing customer need, already I have discussed. Customers are changing from time to time and you have to take care of it. Environment concern. Now, particularly automobile industry, big manufacturing sectors, they will have to go for very much environmental concerns. Then merger and acquisitions are taking place all over the world. Even the acquisition or total selling within, I don't know whether you have read it or not, uh, Big Bazaar had faced a lot of problem in the meantime. Future Group, Kishore Biani's Future Group. Now these are being taken over by Reliance people. They paid 24,700 some odd crores and they took away Big Bazaar. Now it belongs to Reliance. So big players, they will not allow you to leave nowadays. If you want to leave, then you have to think about a limited market and go. You can't compete with those big players. Very difficult. You need to have government support of those. Then excess capacity, if you have, then that management is structural changes are taking place in organizations because hierarchy and other things are creating a lot of problem in business decisions. Deregulation, global competitions. So your business is affected by that. And when I said in the very first, very first hour, so I said key the factors are of internal and external, controllable and factors uncontrollable, partially controllable, and totally affects the entire industry, which are not at all controllable. Already I have mentioned, like your organizational structure, production, finance, human resource, R&D, marketing mixes. They are internal factors, and your external factors are demography, economic conditions, social, cultural, political, legal, technological, competition, nature, of course, international factors. Shareholders, creditors, suppliers, market intermediaries, and customers. They are, though external, they are partially controllable or semi-controllable. Social factor I discussed here, diversity, demographical changes that is occurring, family, what you view about ourselves, view about others, view about the organizations, what you view about the society that affects. Internet, database, data analytics, online business, digital marketing, robotics, and barcode. Economic factor like income, socio-economic profile, aspirations and expectations of people for quality and others, what will happen. They want to know about the future. They are very choosy. Even during this recession period, people love to bargain. Economic distribution, taxation, employment level, currency. These matters. Political ruling party or opposition party. Who is the ruling party? Whether they have majority or not. If you have a majority, whether you have a see, most of the political decisions are depend upon whether you have a strong ruling party or not. Then whether opposition party is quite weak or whether they have existence or not. That is very important. Then the foreign policy of the company. People says why the prime minister is moving around so many times. When we don't know, we basically say like that. This is the reason. There are a lot of why China is creating a lot of problem because most of 70% of its crude oil go through Indian oceans. That's why when this prime minister came to power, first he had a meeting in Hotel Mayfair, where almost all small nations in Indian oceans, they were invited to Hotel Mayfair. Around 40, 50 nations, ambassadors, ministers, they were invited because at that time Manohar Parrikar and Sushma Swaraj, all these people had come just to have good relationship with those nations because most 70% of the crude oil go through that places. So you have to keep relationship with them. You have to go to these nations. You have to go to France. See, because you may be in a pandemic situation because at that same time to make you more weak, there is a warlike situation. And for warlike situation, you spend 54,000 crore to get a few, let's say, aircraft. And see, movement of troop from one place to other place, all these are money. And uh, so your trade policy, your environmental law, your international relationship and business laws matters a lot. International factor, like I said, trade blocks, alliance, your foreign policy, labor supply chain reliability, raw material availability, that all affects the business. Share. Yes. Okay, with this, I completed my presentation because you have already listened to Professor Rajan Saxena for quite a long time. And again, there will be a lot of psychological torture cost for the participants to listen more and more. Thank you, Professor Samantray. Now, if you have any questions from the participants, I would like to answer.
Thank you, sir. I request participant, you can ask some of the questions or you can write them in the chat box so that you can ask. Sir, one question from Subrat in Pratiyar. He says, he asks, in this environment, what are the emerging research areas in sales and distribution management?
In sales and distribution
management.
Sales and distribution management.
Yes.
Achha, so you see, you can make a study. It's limited to sales and distribution only.
Yes, sir.
What he says, research areas.
Research areas, emerging research areas.
Acha, emerging research area. Now you can make a research on, let's say, online distribution, online supplies, logistic and supply chain management, role of a retailer, role of distributors, or you can say information as a driver of drivers. You see, in logistic and supply chain management, we discuss about inventory, we discuss about, let's say, facilities like warehouses, godowns, then distributor, retailer, inventory, loading, unloading, that is called material handling. So many things we discuss. So you can take any area of that role of dealer, retailers, or you can work on, like I said, now new generation uh, business model, like brick and mortar model. You can work on brick and clip model, or you can go for nickel and dime model, or likewise you can work only on transportation side, you can work on logistic part, you can work on inventory part, you can work on channel conflict area. So there are so many areas. If you have my number, you can talk to me personally. If you want to do PhD research work, I can guide. Thank you. Yes.
Yes, any question? Sir, another question from Svetalina Mandal. As you said, the banning of Chinese apps and products will create patriotic feelings, but won't it create a backlash on products that have yet to have an alternative?
Alternative. Yesterday I was listening. Yesterday I was listening. See, these products were not there earlier. I think Professor Samantra will agree. In our time, we had these. No, it was not
No,
there.
we had only one Nokia 1104 phone.
1104 model like that. See, this generation people are so discontent. Just you can't just imagine. They are changing their mobile phone. I think every year. Every year. Uh, Once I had been to Sai International School. I asked the children, how many of you have 5 mobile phones? So 4 to 5 students raised their hands. Sir, I have 5. They thought it's a matter of proud. Then I said, how many? 4. I asked, how many of you have one mobile phone? I didn't find a single one which have one, at least 2 and above. So uh, they are being addicted. Okay, they are wasting their time. But if we give this type of comment, then the next generation children may they say they are obsoleted, they are very orthodox like that. They are doing well. We don't know how to use this, but at the same time, that increase their reflex, that increase their decision making ability. They say, but see, I said, no, it is just a strike in the face of the Chinese government. So, like you people have banned so many Chinese product during the Diwali time. You didn't use their crackers, you didn't light. So there. But yesterday, one of my student who was a expert in this area was telling in OTV, some product. He was saying he is working on this area, particularly in the game and others apps. He said there are some new Indian products are coming, but I hope the children will not be satisfied with that. They need apps of that quality and others. But I hope the next generation engineers they will try to bring IITs and all technical institutions. They must try to bring out some apps, and there are experts. I think they will come up with some solutions that will come. But all of a sudden, for example, don't be that patriotic that you have purchased a Chinese mobile and throw it. I have seen it has been done by many people. Don't throw it because you have already paid and you are going to use this product. Okay, thank you.
Sir, another question.
Mm.
There are any Yes, sir.
When
Is there any way near our government to decrease the import of Chinese products, especially the mobile phones?
That is a political decision. I don't know. It depends upon the demand. Remember, it depends upon if you all stop using their product, always certain demand will come, and that decision has not been taken. But that's why once, I used to discuss with also international relations with China. You can't beat. If I say it, you may not like it. Also, I say it's very difficult to beat the Chinese people. My friends who are working there, they say even their engineering institutions, what they're working, they said it's very difficult to beat them. If you want to beat them, you have to be a. They are called dragon. You have to be octopus type. So you have to change your color. You have to just when you have to change yourself first. You have to change your policy. You have to change your attitude. Like see, we people are not that disciplined. We people we have got let's say our governance setup is quite different. We have lots of oppositions. There is one government, one person. What he says, everybody will listen. Even if you have remembered in Tiananmen Square, thousands of students were brutally killed when they went against communism. So they are set up. There's let's say set up their politics, their patriotism are something different. But what I have heard from my friends, now there are also opposition from their inner quarters. Now people are raising their voice. I think some of you might have read those who went against even some doctors, some journalists went against their government policies. They are missing. They are being killed. But in place like India, if you do something mistake, if you do mistake, even police slap you, then you may go to court. You may say go to Human Rights Commission. So our setup is quite different. I hope government will take some measure, and particularly this government is very strict. It will take some measure to ban those products. It will definitely take some products. Automatically, those companies, those who have the manufacturing hub in China, they have already been invited by this government internally. Just come and start your factory in India. So obviously, uh, that will happen. I hope for the best. But import rate in let's say steel and other sectors that has been reduced like anything. Okay, that's why they are so annoyed. Okay, thank you.
Is there any question? I think the questions are answered by Dr. Tushar Pani.
Okay,
Sir.
thank you for your patience listening.
Hello. Sir, actually, with me, we have three, four batchmates of 2006. They were listening to you, sir. So
Okay.
again, we are thinking that we are in the classroom, what you taught in 2006, the marketing paper.
Sir.
So they joined only because you sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your, for being with us, for a nice presentation and informating about this environment, marketing environment. I think the participants, they definitely got some input that will help them in their research and in their academic career. So thank you very much, sir, for
Very
accepting and
much.
coming, and thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you, Barda. You people are young. Who have still, I think uh, I am with you people whenever you like. We are here for your guidance. Thank you very
Sir,
much.
Pradeep,
Thank you,
Ramya,
sir.
and Raju joined for you.
Mhm. Who?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, Amya, Pradeep, and Raju, they joined.
अच्छा, ठीक है thank you
Now they
very
left
much.
us.
अच्छा thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you also.
Thank you all. The session has come to an end.
କଣ କହିବି
ଆହୁରି ଅଛନ୍ତି
ଏ 5 ଜଣ ଅଛନ୍ତି ବନ୍ଦ କରୁନାହାନ୍ତି